Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Gavin Mehl. We got a special guest on us today. Her name is Mags from Canada. She's going to tell us her story. It's a compelling one. And this video is geared towards the no coiners, people who have never even heard of crypto, or maybe they've heard of it and they are just not too sure about what's going on. And you heard a little bit about Bitcoin, but really, what is it and what's it all about, and why should you even care about it? Because it's her story. I think it's very compelling for someone to listen to and learn about how she navigated through this maze and was successful at navigating through it in a short amount of time. So, welcome, Mags. It's good to have you today. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for hosting, Gavin.
You're welcome.
This
Pleasure
is
to have you. So why don't we just go get started? I mean, you're from Canada, and I did read your book, but for those who haven't, please just give us a background of your story, where you come from, how you got started.
Sure. So a year ago in June, so this would have been June 2023, I had decided I was going to take control of my financial future. And part of that was to invest in stocks and bonds and, yes, cryptocurrency. So I was totally clueless up until that point. And when I opened a basic account, I decided, well, I'm going to do what I kind of been hearing in the atmosphere: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. So those were my go-tos, simply because I came in as an absolute novice. I had no clue what I was doing. The platform that I opened was kind of a all-in-one. So I could buy TFSAs, non-registered, and crypto on the same platform, which made it very convenient and very easy. It literally went from my bank into that account. I could buy whatever I want. So that was working out okay. And then for whatever reason, I started, I guess, going down a few rabbit holes. I found your videos and Max and Satoshi and Crypto Rick. And I kept thinking when I first saw it, maybe they're talking about something else, because I heard BSV, not BTC. And that kind of clicked in my mind. I'm not quite sure what they're talking about, but I'm interested. So as I went down that rabbit hole, I realized it was a totally different ballgame. Totally different ballgame. And how could I have missed this coming in? Well, of course, you're going to hear the loudest voices in space. So that's who I was listening to. But that train has already left the station, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear those mouthpieces, those megaphones talking, buy, 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 you're going to lose, you get overwhelmed. So when I went down this other path, I realized that was what I was actually looking for, and that there was a whole bunch of information, including the hijacking of Bitcoin, which I was totally clueless about.
So, so it sounds like timeline wise, this is sometime last year that you made a decision that you wanted to learn this stuff and figure it out.
Yep.
So before that, in your book, you mentioned that you had originally, I guess, you held an Apple computer back in the early days, and that you thought it was really an amazing computer, and that you
Yeah.
thought, well, but you never just thought maybe I should buy some of the company. I guess it just never dawned on you. Is that what your point?
Right. So back in '88, I was working as a receptionist for an accounting firm. It was a very niche little firm. And I had worked only up until that point on an IBM Selectric, and that was the Cadillac of business machines. So I was quite accustomed to that. It's a beautiful machine. And then the owner decided to bring in Apple computers. And these were the big boxy first generation. And of course, this totally blew my mind. This could do everything and more than I ever wanted. So I had asked the boss, can I take this home on the weekend just to kind of fiddle around with it, figure it out? And of course she said yes, and that wasn't a problem. And that became basically a love affair that I have with Mac to this day. And had one person said to me, just one single person said to me, Mags, you know, you love the computer so much. Why don't you just invest $500 into the company? Just put it in there and don't even look at it until you turn 60. Well, that would have changed my life because I did the calculation. And sure enough, had I done that, a minimum $500 investment when it was $190 a share, I would have had over $2 million today. My 60th birthday was last year, and that's a big loss. So as you get older, you start to think about these things and it becomes more relevant and more pressing, particularly given the global environment and what's happening. So I came to this as a complete novice, not even knowing the terminology. And it was my mission, truly my mission, to figure out how I could be successful in the crypto field.
So, all right. So it sounds like you missed out on the Apple opportunity. It sounds like it was really costly. Now, how does that in your story, how does that fit into where things are now?
So with the Apple story, it was the technology that clicked in my mind. I could do everything with this. It played music. I could save documents on disks. I could listen to master chess players and play chess and play video games, the first video games. I could write my prose and my scripts. So it just seemed to me that it opened up a completely new technological opportunity, a whole new arena that I had not even considered. So for me, it was a paradigm shift because I am not a techie. I am the least techie person you will come across. I am digitally challenged. And for me to now find myself in this space is surprising, but quite wonderful. It's a wonderful surprise. So when I started to learn, I mean, really learn about blockchain, that made all the difference because I saw the same thing I saw in 1988. I saw the paradigm shift of technology and how that is going to change everything. You cannot overlook this because it is going very quickly down this road. And if you don't get on board by educating yourself, you are going to be, unfortunately, left behind in not a very pretty way, I hate to say, because everything is changing. Everything, not just financially. We're talking economically, we're talking medically, we are talking educationally. All systems are changing. And that is part, I think, of a beautiful revolution and evolution we are experiencing as a human species and as a planet. So it's exciting. And I try to share that excitement with my friends. A lot of them are older. They don't quite get it. They feel like they've missed the boat, but I'm happy to hold their hand and nurture them through it and onboard them.
So your friends feel like they missed the boat. Is that because BTC is what 60,000? I mean, it seems like it's kind of high right now. So doesn't it seem like it's too late to get into that BTC Bitcoin? I mean, what
Yeah,
I would see their objection, or I don't know. It seems like
it
would have been
is.
early, maybe like a long time ago. Maybe if it was like under $100, but now it's already over 60,000, I guess. So
Yeah. And, I think, again, there is a lot of confusion for people who are new to the space. They think, well, I don't have that money to buy a Bitcoin. And the truth is, you don't need that kind of money. You could start with as little as $50. And the big reveal to me is that Bitcoin was, in fact, hijacked. So what people think is worth something, to me, is absolutely worthless. BTC 2017 is a fiat fork. It is a SegWit and has basically completely eroded and disregarded the white paper and the ideals of the genuine Bitcoin. And when I found out that the genuine Bitcoin is BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, that got my attention. And that got me excited about learning more about not just only cryptocurrency, but blockchain, because that is the spine of the system. DLT, digital ledger technology, that is kind of the whole field itself, and then blockchain within that, and then cryptos, etc. So it's a beautiful system. I think it's an elegant system, and it's sound. It's safe, it's scalable, and honestly, I want off the roller coaster at this point. I think a lot of people do. A lot of people are waking up and figuring out, you know what, this whole fiat business, this whole manipulation, this whole propaganda, just not into it anymore. I want something else. And that's why I'm very much a supporter of BSV.
So what do you have to say about the opposition? Because there seems to be a lot of people online that said it was a scam, and then they said it was fake Toshi, and they have these words that they use. It seems to be very aggressive. So on that, I mean, if you know, did you come across any of that opposition and that subverted you? I mean,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
There
What
is,
what did you find?
so there is a they call it a civil war, essentially a Bitcoin civil war, and two competing factions. So it is the faction that is really looking for this to go to $1 million and has not adhered to the protocol, which is a completely different Bitcoin than what was originally intended. And then you have the other camp, which is the original vision, the true to the Genesis block, the protocol, and adhering to this being a very stable, secure, scalable new platform for digital peer-to-peer exchange. That to me sounds wonderful. It sounds much more wonderful than CBDCs, which I want no part of. So again, this got my attention and kind of led me along the path to learn more and more about it. So yeah, the voices are very loud. The camps are like this. What is disconcerting to me is that despite all this evidence, people just don't want to hear it. They are loyal to a fault, to a fiat fake BTC, and that's the hill that they want to die on. And that's okay. But really, like, do you want to be limited by nature? I find that so fascinating that people would rather pay high fees, really astronomical high fees, long transaction times, and for what? Because there's nothing there. The technology isn't there. The technology is BSV.
And so what are some of the features then, the utility that you discovered with the big block Bitcoin, which is the BSV? What were some of the utilities that you found useful?
Right. So the very first one, it is decentralized. And that is paramount to me, the most important thing. I want nothing to do with the centralized system. It is broken and I just don't want it. Peer-to-peer, being able to send somebody money literally within a minute or less makes me very happy. I love the privacy aspect. Again, I am not big on government. I am not big on banks. I like my privacy. I'm happy with that. Fees are minimal. They are fractions of a penny. How great is that? I think we're all kind of sick and tired of paying way too many fees to way too many middlemen. So for me, those are all pluses, cannot be beat. The fact that it is a limited amount, so a bit of scarcity built in there. The fact that it is essentially inflation proof, another huge win. Like, this is a system that can truly change people's lives. And it doesn't matter where you live, Canada, Chile, Philippines, it doesn't matter. It will work the same for you as it works for me.
What
So
are the
that's
what
why
are
I'm
the
excited.
what are the risk factors? Have you considered any risk factors that could cause it to fail?
Well, I think it's been demonstrated. So the BTC experiment, the 2017 forking, that's a failure in my eyes. And I think there are enough people who realize that. Certainly, if you haven't read Hijacking Bitcoin by Roger Ver, this is your first stop. He explains the actors involved, the steps, the sequences, and certainly the suppression of information, truthful information. Again, we live in a time where black is white and white is black. This is now our daily lives. It's such a dystopia. It's hard to figure out what the truth is. But I'm a bit tenacious, as they say. So I keep digging. And sure enough, I was very happy that my efforts were fruitful and I managed to find BSV. That to me is the answer to what I'm looking to for a cryptocurrency and a technology that is going to change the world without question.
So why can't like Ripple or XRP change the world? Because I've heard that they were going to change the world and they were going to be in the banks and all these things, but they've been saying that. Have you seen that happen? I mean, what happened?
Oh, absolutely. So XRP has an army. They're very loud. They're very vocal. God bless them. You know, it would be pretty boring if the world was all vanilla. But the fact of the matter is, things like Lightning Network, they just don't work. These things are trying to do what Bitcoin truly promises, but they cannot deliver. That is the problem. And when you figure that out and you figure out all these altcoins are just pump and dump, meaning you're going to lose your money, folks. Very few people make money on this. And I know there is everybody saying, I'm going to make you a millionaire if you just follow this. Well, listen, that's not the way it works. It's just not. So with my understanding, with XRP, with Ripple, with Bitcoin 2017, these will become basically controlled by a shadow bank. And these will be in the States used as CBDCs. According to Martin Armstrong, who I follow and have followed for several years, he has come out and said on record that because the US has a constitution, they cannot bring in a CBDC per se. However, the way around this is getting the banks to do it and these crypto companies basically to front them and say, hey, here's a crypto token you can buy. But in essence, it is a CBDC. It is controlled and they can cut you off anytime they want. My suspicion is they are going to start rolling this out this summer, which is the urgency for me personally as an investor to stock up as much BSV as I can. So that's my plan.
So did you have a hard time when you first I guess you're unraveling this, did you have a hard time finding it? I mean, what did you do? Like, were you on an exchange? I mean, tell me your story. Like, where you first started, you're like, what are you on, Coinbase or something? And you're like, oh, they don't have it here. Where did you
Yeah,
start it at?
so and it's a number of exchanges that have totally delisted BSV. It's very difficult to find. So that's why I wrote the book, quite frankly, is because I I was so desperate, so frustrated at not being able to get a hand on this. I literally just went back to student mode, and I pulled out a notebook and I just started writing down every lead I could and trying to find it. It was trial and error. I have many wallets. I have used many exchanges and have had many surprises. It is not as straightforward as you might seem. Now, I know there's some foolery involved here with delisting. So what I'm going to say to people very, very straight up, I'm going to be totally honest with you. If you can find something on a regular exchange, like a Coinbase, like a Kraken, like a Qcoin, right? They make it easy for a reason, because they are literally acting like a crypto bank for you. They are holding that for you. That means they can cut you off or they can steal from you anytime. And don't you think it can't happen? Because it can. So the best thing that I found is just literally throwing spaghetti against a wall and trying one after the other and taking notes after notes as best I could. What worked, what didn't work. And eventually I started to finesse a system that worked for me. That's how I finally got a hold of it. And the euphoria of actually getting BSV, because that was the treasure, that was the goal. It was like reaching Mount Everest, the peak.
Mm.
So it was fabulous.
Wow. So you literally were just determined you weren't going to give up no matter how hard it was. I mean,
Nope.
this took months of research to figure out, or
Oh my
to
God. Yeah.
just to
I,
get it, because I
oh,
mean, you're going through multiple places and then they probably don't service Canada, right? And then it's like, oh, sorry, even if you do find it.
it was like a maze, honestly. And again, I just was so persistent because to me, it was my 1988 Apple episode, only updated. I know the value of blockchain. No question, it is changing the world. It will forever change the world, and it can change the world for the better. However, on this other side, you have these elitists who want to control you. It's a very small group, but they do want to control you. And they are about to flip this fiat system, which is at the very end, to a new digital system. So it's very easy to onboard people. You know, I call it strangers with candy. They offer you this ease to get onto an exchange, to link up your bank. It's so easy. Man, I just bought like $10,000 worth of XRP today. I'm on the top of the world. When really, you've just built yourself a prison. So that's my take on it. And I have been very careful. I'm very studious and very fastidious about this. I want to make sure that I can maintain my integrity and maintain and grow my financial wealth in this wealth transfer that is happening. We are changing systems, and change is the only constant. So you go with the flow or you be bulldozed. That's the way it goes. So I am
So,
very happy to be a part of the BSV camp.
and when you say BSV camp, what is it about the blockchain? So what is this blockchain? What makes, I mean, there's lots of blockchains. So what difference does it make? I mean, for a no coiner, like person who's new, I mean, it's such a, how does the blockchain fit into this?
Right.
And
So the blockchain facilitates, it's where things are placed, where things are connected and placed. And for the BSV blockchain, the original Bitcoin, it is unlimited. Where other blockchains are faulty and small, let's call them tiny blocks.
hobby blockchains.
Yes, they are hobbled together and they have layers which bridge and try to provide like band-aid solutions, which are really poorly designed.
Add
So
middlemen, don't they?
Yeah, middlemen, essentially. So really to have a thought out, efficient, effective, secure, safe, scalable system, that's what you need. That's what the world can run on. Not these hacky, tiny systems that nobody wants to use.
And what about the systems for people who are the ones that are proof of stake or the ones that are, I guess, Ripple, we really, are you able to see what's going on with those systems? I mean, really, like, do we even know?
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
want to go with a proof of work system, which BSV is, and that is vital. The other component is the mining aspect. You know, there is this argument with the 2017 BTC community. They go on ad nauseum about having these full nodes. And the truth is you don't need a full node. You can do the SPV, you know? So truly, it is everything I had hoped in a system that would work. And I do believe it does. I have used it. I am still a new user, but I am a happy camper.
Hmm. Nice. So, all right. So what can people do if they want to learn more about this or they want to get started, because you know, I don't know. I make videos like this, Mags, because I feel like, I want to be able to at least give people the opportunity to have informed and say, look, when in the future I can say, look, I did my part. I gave you notice and you can start researching and do the education yourself.
Right.
But I really do feel bad for people who don't have at least one Bitcoin SV because it's under $50 and there's no excuses. I mean, if you're a BTC maxi or a Ripple maxi or whatever, that I think it's great. I'm not, whatever you want to get into, but to completely avoid this, isn't it kind of, I mean, I think it would be almost dangerous in a way to underestimate what could happen here. Um, and what could happen? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I will tell you, yeah, I think for anybody who's entering this space, particularly if you're older like I am, it is very daunting because you are clueless. And everybody has to start somewhere, but as you get older, it's harder to remember things, to do things. So it's an onboarding process that is a little bit steep, not so smooth, right? So you have to have that mentality of being persistent about this. So my channel is devoted to novices, and you're welcome to join me at my YouTube channel.
What's that?
It's Borealis Blockchain Builders, and
Borealis
I only had
blockchain
it for a
builders.
month, so it is a new channel. Also, my book, you can get my book. It's on the link underneath every
Okay.
one of my videos. This is a $10 USD guide. It will walk you through every single mistake that I made and clarifies. And I'm always there for support. I am very happy to be building a community that is contacting me. I have a lot of people sending me emails, just giving their experience. And it's wonderful because I can help them troubleshoot. I'm more than happy to do that. And believe me, so last year I was so desperate to try and get a hold of BSV. I literally was going to ask a friend's son to just 2 hours over coffee, just show me what I need to do, because I had no clue on how to start it. No idea. And as foolish as that makes me look, you are a fool once if you ask, and then not a fool any
No,
longer.
it's it's not foolish because I mean the only reason that I was able to be fortunate enough to get into Ethereum early and these ICOs is I had a really good friend that sat me down and was like, look, this is gonna be weird, this is gonna be hard, but I'm like, this is like so hard. I can't. He's like, no, you just need to. I brought my laptop into his business and he just was like, go here. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too much, but he showed me and I trusted him and I was able to just get through this crazy, insane Ethereum early days. I mean, It's like a whole new language. And that's
Right.
kind of what this is right now. So it's a lot easier than it was then, of course, now. So what you're showing people is very, very realistic. You don't have to be technical. You just have to be able to follow steps.
That's it. I literally lay it out in layers.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, first year, step 1, step 2, step 3, literally I lay out everything. It is easy peasy. And if, like I say, if I could do it, anybody can do it. And I feel so much better that I have actually succeeded in this, because I know I can see down the line, BSV is going to be superior to everything else. It is going to be the blockchain. It is going to be the token. So for me, I'm very confident in that. I believe if people just get one, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And let it be, let it sit.
Just at least have one. There's only 21 million. I recommend that too. I mean, get
Exactly.
one and then, hey, it's
And
only
honestly,
one. It's like, hey, that way you're not risking anything. It's $50, less than $50 right now. I mean, it's silly how cheap it is. I don't think it's possibly real. You look at it like that can't be right, but
true,
okay.
true. And I think if like for $50, like, of course I'm going to buy it.
Yeah,
What are the chances? You do better buying this than a lottery ticket. That's
definitely.
my opinion,
I'd say, yeah,
right?
thousand, yeah, a million times better than a lottery ticket. That's for sure.
Right?
It's a good
So
analogy.
yeah, if everybody just get one, use it as insurance. And I'm this way about gold and silver too. I started stacking gold and silver in 2021 because again, I saw this coming. I was listening to alternative voices in the space and I saw this coming like a runaway train. And I thought, I've got to take some action. And that's what I did. I started stacking gold and silver. Has it done me well? You bet. I am very happy with my profits on gold and silver. And I expect that to continue to go up. And we'll just see.
We'll just see. So, okay. Your YouTube video, I'm going to put it again, or your YouTube channel, I will put it at the end of this video. But again, tell us the channel, and so we could find that you and the book.
Right. It's Borealis Blockchain Builders. It's here on YouTube. And the book will be listed underneath any one of my videos. It's Blockchain and BSV Easy Investing. And as I said, it is easy peasy. Anybody can do this.
Is there any other way for people to reach you other than that? Is that the best
Yeah,
way? Okay, go
you
ahead.
bet. I always leave my email on all my videos as well. It's bbb123canada@gmail.com.
bbb123canada@gmail.com. All right, for all the no coiners out there or anybody that's just even started, want to get curious about this stuff, I hope this video helps you. Sure would help me at this point, man, back in the day when I got started. So I mean, it's a maze out there, Mags, and thanks for helping to unravel this complex maze of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin and crypto. I mean, gosh. So it sounds like your solution is that people don't have to learn all these other cryptos and all this other stuff if they just focus on one. That's
And
the
in fact,
solution.
yes, I really recommend that you just focus your efforts. It's a big space. There are a lot of scams, and the likelihood of a novice making money is very little if you are trying to hit a whole bunch of coins there. It would be wiser, in my opinion, to focus on one or two, and go that route, because really it's a dicey game and huge volatility, huge for the next 2 years. I guarantee it.
Going to be volatile. Yeah. So where do you see things going on like if somebody were looking at an upside on something like on Bitcoin SV?
Again, I think we are going to see this summer the big push for banks trying to onboard people. Okay. But with BSV, that is the treasure. You will probably see that come alive in a big way I'm thinking 2025. So now's the time to buy. Jump in. It's super cheap to buy right now. Find it in your budget. I buy every month, at least a couple of times a month, along with gold and silver, physical. So for me, I set aside in my budget and I buy, and I just keep buying. I don't listen. I don't worry about it. I know there's people who go online every day. They want to see
Look
the
at the
price.
price
They want
every
to figure it
day.
out.
Yeah.
That would make me crazy. And I've got
Right.
enough crazy happening
I
up
mean,
here.
yeah, that's right. That's funny because I talk to a lot of people and they're not willing to sell even at certain ridiculous prices. So I'm like, wow, it's kind of it's really interesting. It's really bullish that people are not selling, definitely not selling.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm holding and I'm using. Like I have a separate wallet that I use BSV for specifically, and that's worked wonderfully well. So honestly, if you are new to the space, consider BSV as your go-to.
Yeah. So what's going to happen with all right, so you mentioned, what to expect. I mean, what about this Craig Wright trial? What do you think is going to happen? Craig Wright, he lost the case and now we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's appealed. Does that matter? I mean, should people be concerned about that situation? I mean, or how it affects things at all?
So from what I can see, it's over. We are now into a new era. I actually called this as a black swan event in BSV a couple of weeks ago. I don't believe there will be an appeal. I do have a sneaking suspicion there is a possibility of Dr. Wright going to jail.
Hmm.
And as far as that affects BSV, it doesn't matter. Do you see how many people in the crypto space are in jail or have done time in jail? It's every day.
Yeah.
It's every single day. At this point, I don't think anyone cares. People just want to make money, Now, that's not my objective. I would like to use the technology in a way that is going to benefit me in a significant way to change my life and the life of my family and my friends and my fellow human beings. I want an ethical system that works for everybody, that everybody can use. And BSV accomplishes that. I don't know of any other way to get out of this pickle that the world is going through right now. The cake is baked, Gavin. It's done. It's over. What happens next? We're all going to just wait and see.
The
But it's
fiat,
pretty exciting.
you mean the fiat system?
Completely. And the flip
Yeah.
to digital, it has to go to digital because there's no way you can go back. Now, the problem being is that you can't exchange one fiat system, right, for another fiat system. It's not going to work. It's a whole lot of nothing. So now the trick is, how do you facilitate this so people actually have value in their crypto, right? So then the conversation of tokenization, of backing it with physical gold and silver, whatever. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's some exciting companies on there. We really got to look into. I would encourage people to look into tokenize, Tokenovate, uh, Chenti. These companies are so cutting edge, and
Yeah.
they're just some of the things that they're doing is incredible right now. So, all right, Mags. Well, thank you. Anything else? Any last words of wisdom you want to leave us with before we wrap?
Just again, if you are completely new to this and it seems overwhelming, I promise you it is worth the journey. Jump in, start learning wherever you are, and come visit me on my channel. I'm happy to help you along.
All right, we'll put it at the end here. Thank you, Mags. We'll see you
Thanks,
at the top.
Gavin. Have a great day.